I was called to the Southeast Mexico Mission in 1970. I was excited to go there. I was sure that I was going to get called to Japan or some foreign place like that, but since I already knew Spanish, it was a great place to be. And in the territory in that mission was from Puebla down to Yucatan area, and there was only 2 chapels in the whole mission. This is my sister Lynette. At the airport, I'm being sent to Uvalde, Texas to wait for my visa to go into Mexico, and I was there for 2-3 weeks. This is also at the airport. My Aunt Ada and her daughter, Jolynn, they were a lifesaver while I was at the LTM, or MTC as you guys call it. We had the LTM right there on BYU campus. So it was real different than it is today. But I was there from March until about August. So we had a lot of time to do lots of things. And this is Jolynn and me, same at the airport. This is at Netta's apartment there. She was going to BYU, and it was Mother's Day, and I got to call my mom for Mother's Day. It's not like it is now where you can call every week. I was able to call just on Mother's Day and Christmas. And Jolynn didn't want to be in that picture, so she was taken off, but Netta took the picture anyway. And back in my day, the first week when you went on the mission up to Provo, you first went to Salt Lake City to the mission home for a week. And this is me outside of the mission home, and that mission home is probably in the location where the conference center is now. This is there at the mission home in Salt Lake with those elders that were my roommates. And while I was there, the main purpose of that week was to learn the first discussion. And they were actually things that you need to memorize. There were 6 discussions. And since my brother went on a mission to Mexico, he already had the discussions, so he gave it to me. And while I was waiting to go on my mission, I learned the first discussion in Spanish. So when I got to Salt Lake, told him, the president there, why would I need to learn it in English if I already learned Spanish and I'm going to Mexico? So he said, good point. So just help the other elders with theirs. So that's what I did that week. These elders, the 2 on the right, were going to Africa, and they were the first to be called to Africa and speaking Afrikaans, and they were my roommates. And I was district leader of my group, and this is the elders in my group, and this Night Magnum Hall is where we had classes and stuff. And this is a picture of our zone. That lady there, she was one of our instructors. And this is my group again. The elder on the left was my companion. The elder on the right was my first companion, came from Tucson, and Barbara knew him. And then that other elder I told you about was my second one. And we were having a watermelon feast at one of our instructors' apartments there at BYU at the LTM. And while we were there in the LTM, it was the 24th of July parade there in Provo. And Aunt Ada and Uncle Jack loaned me some horses that they had. So me and my companion rode in the 24th of July parade, and sitting in the audience was President Joseph Fielding Smith. And as we rode by, we waved at them and they waved back to us. It was a pretty neat deal. And this is Uvalde, Texas. And what was really unique about this town was the trees. Wherever there was a tree, construction went around it. Sidewalks went around it, streets went around it. And so that was kind of unique. And this in Uvalde, that's a tree that the road goes around. Hope there's no drunk coming down that road at night. And the elder on the right was our senior companion, we called him. And there was 3 of us and 1 of him, and these 2 couple were senior missionaries. And that's a picture of the foursome there in Uvalde. This is one going into my mission down in Mexico. I flew into Mexico City and then took a Mexican airline from Mexico City to Veracruz. And just as we were taking off and almost got up to where we were supposed to be the flight, the door flew off. And so the pilot went back down to stabilize the air pressure and just cruised on into Veracruz without turning back to Mexico City. And right in front of that door was my guitar. And I was afraid it was going to blow out the door, so I asked the stewardess if she'd bring it back to me. And she did, so I held on to it. And this is a picture of my mission. I think it is Puebla. This is another picture of it, taken from the elder's apartment. And it was here that I picked up my senior companion as we was going to our first area in Tehuacan. And this is me. I'm either in Veracruz. I think I'm in Veracruz before I'm sent off on my first area. And this is a landscape of the area. It's really mountainous and jungly. And this is me around the same area. And this was on our balcony. We'd dip down into a well and get our washing water. In all of the towns in Mexico, they have what they call a plaza. And this is just one of them. They're really beautiful. This is in Tehuacan. This was an onyx factory. And when I went in there, and he was making figurines of onyx and stuff, and I asked if he could make a chessboard and a chess set. And he said he could, and so I said, could you send it to the States? And he said, sure. So I paid him for it, but my mom said it never arrived, so I don't know what he did with it. And this here is a real neat town where the old town was surrounded by that fort-like structure in the back. In the new town is all of these futuristic objects. And there is the library, and this town is called Campeche. And they had the best shrimp. You could only fit about 4 shrimp on a plate. They were huge, and they were really delicious. Okay, this is in Tehuacan, it was noted for its factory, Peñafiel factory. They bottled sodas. And what's really unique about it is you go in there and the water they use to put in the sodas is actual river running through there. I thought that was pretty neat. And this is in the Peñafiel factory going into it. And that's my companion and some more members that are going into that factory. There's another picture of me going into that Peñafiel factory. And this is the bottling machine that they had there. And they're bottling a lot of soda there. Those machines really went around fast. And this is tobacco shed. That's tobacco leaves being dried there in Tehuacan. Okay, this is my first place to serve, and it's in Tehuacan, Puebla. And the door straight ahead is coming off the street. And then those doors on the left are rooms. The first ones there, first couple, are where we had sacrament meeting. And then one of them's the kitchen. And then our room is the last one on the left. And that in front there is the baptismal font. And we had to fill that up with buckets. Coming over on the right is our bathroom and in cement wash tub type of thing that we did our washing on. And there in the courtyard there we held a lot of dances. Me and my second companion, who played the guitar also, would play for the dances, and then during intermissions we'd go talk to the people, and a lot of people would come in off the streets to see what's happening in there, and we'd get to talk to them. This is one of the elders' apartments. I forget what town it was, but I didn't serve here. We was just visiting. I think this is Veracruz in the town there in the plaza. This is one of the two chapels that was in my mission. I think this one is in, I don't know if it's Veracruz or Mérida, one or the other. This is Papantla, and you can see in the courtyard there, there's a big old tall pole, and that's where the voladores swing from. There's one guy that goes clear to the top of there, and on the top they put a big old spool of rope, and one of the natives goes on top of that spool and plays a little drum and flute, while four others go up there and tie their one foot onto one rope and go off backwards, and they just untwist clear to the ground. But this one was sort of on a hillside, and quite a few of them got injured when they hit the side of the hill and they didn't come up in time. Not quite sure what this town is, but probably around Papantla, because it is very mountainous in the same area. And it would rain a lot there, and when I try to go visit people up in those hills, boy, it's slipping and sliding all the way up there and down. And this is there in Tehuacan too. That elder on the far left was my companion. His name was Elder Frazier. And that's some of our baptisms that we had there. And they really loved the activities we put on. And they had to really tell their friends and invite their friends over. Yeah, it was a great group of young people. Okay, this is the elders down in Orizaba, which was in our district. And the elder on the left was Elder Hagee, and he was district leader, and after Tehuacan, I went down to Orizaba to serve with him. This is the elders serving there in Orizaba. And this is one of my companions in Tehuacan. When I came back to Tehuacan to serve about my last month or so, and he was the greatest elder and greatest scriptorian I've ever seen. He knew the Old Testament, New Testament, Book of Mormon, Doctrine and Covenants, Pearl of Great Price. He knew them all, and he was a real great companion. This is him playing his little piano flute thing, and he's from Mexico City, and that drawing there was made by a lady there in Tehuacan. She really did an amazing job of the Salt Lake Temple in the wintertime in the snow. And this is in Tehuacan also, some of the members there. And the girl on the left, when we were starting to teach her, her parents told her that if she ever joined the church, that they'd disown her and she couldn't live with them anymore. And the lady in the middle, in the orange, was my mamacita. That she did the cooking and our washing for us, and the person in the back is her husband. And she was amazing. But anyway, she continued to hold discussions with my mamacita. Then when she did get baptized and her family kicked her out, she went to live with my mamacita. No, I think I was told that she was living out here in the States now. And that's my companion, and mamacita's husband is a veterinarian. It's one of our activities that we had. That's my companion with another elder. That's in the mission home. And that's both of us that are in the mission home in Veracruz. The latter end of my mission, I was secretary to the mission president. And this is me in the mission home there in Veracruz. Hard at it with the electric typewriter. I thought I was in hog heaven, didn't have to use the manual one. And that elder on the left was my guitar playing companion who went home, then came back. And in the meantime, he grew a mustache and dating all the girls that were eligible, which was kind of hard on us missionaries. And this is there in Tehuacan with some of the members there, my companion in the middle. This is my companion with two of our baptisms there in Tehuacan. And this is in Merida, a horse-drawn carriage. He was outside of the place where I used to get my hair cut, and he let us get up there and take a picture. And this is me by myself up there. And this is me and Elder Flores there in Tehuacan, there in our little patio of where we had our home. These are the elders there in Orizaba district. This is in Chichen Itza with my companion. We're in the place where the church says that's a baptismal font, and so I'm baptizing my companion. And this is me and Elder Frazier there in Tehuacan, and me and Elder Frazier again there in Tehuacan. I think that's when he was leaving to go home. This is some more companions. You notice none of us have name tags because they didn't have those things back in those days. But you had to carry your passport around with you. And then this is Elder Hagee. And when I got called to go down to Mexico, missionaries, proselyting missionaries weren't allowed, and so I went down as a dance instructor. And this is us elders going on a hike. This is my companion with some members there in Tehuacan. And this is in front of our house in a little town called Ticul, Yucatan, way in the sticks. And that bicycle was inside of our house, so I said, well, this would be a good thing to take. So we took it out and went about 10 feet, and the thing busted in two. So we didn't have that very long. This is President and Sister Boren, my mission president, and his wife. And she was a nurse, so anytime a shot come due, she was the one that come around and give it to us. So we was always trying to skirt her. This is mission president again. This is him again. He used to be a professional soccer player. So when I first got down on my mission, before I got sent out, I was having an activity there on the beach, and we were playing soccer. And at the end of it, he came over and got the ball and kicked it as hard as he could into the ocean. And we looked at him and we looked at the ball out in the ocean, and he says, well, elders, you going to let that ball get away? So we all jumped in the ocean, went and got it, because missionaries weren't supposed to swim. But he is a real cool president. And this is me in front of our house in Ticul. We were one of the very few houses that were made of cinder block. Most of them were these little grass huts. And inside of the house, in our living room, is where we held sacrament meetings, and in our bedroom, the only thing there was 4 hooks on the wall where we'd hang our hammocks. And this is me sitting on our baptismal font in back of the house there in Ticul. And you see that little shed there in the back. That's how most of the houses are. There weren't much to them. And this is me in front of our room there in Ticul. There's 2 wooden doors, and when that thing is shut, it is darker and dark inside there because we had no windows. We just had 2 beds. And this is in front of the bus station there in Tehuacan. This is in just one of the streets. I don't even know what town that is. But see the guy on the horse, it wasn't unusual at all for people to be riding their horses or have donkey carts or whatever. It's all dirt roads. In most of my mission, I walked or rode a bus. We didn't have a car or bikes or anything. This looks like the Papantla area because it's so mountainous. And you see this guy, there's a train tracks on this hill, and it was a pretty tall hill. And a lot of people, to get from the top to the bottom, they'd get a piece of board and go get on there and start sliding down that thing. They'd really go fast, and they'd have a stick in one hand to be their brakes. And a lot of kids, they would go to school. When they'd come back, they'd slide down those rails. I thought it was pretty cool. This is me in the room in Tehuacan. My poster was the one on the left with the horse. My companion was the other one. Down on my mission, we held a lot of talent shows. And this is some of the sisters showing their talent. And the dresses they're dressed in is what you see every day, what they wear every day down there. And the men dress in all white. So it wasn't hard to find baptismal clothes when it come to baptizing a male. And this is some of the young girls in the talent show. See what I mean with the guys dressed in all white. And this group here is enacting the voladores. And this person on the right, when I said that he plays the flute and drum, it's all one piece. So he plays the flute and he has a little stick and he bangs on the drum, and that is their costume that they wear. And that pole is what it looks like in real life, but it's 100 times taller than that. And you can see the person figurine there on the top where he stands and plays his flute while that thing is going round and round and swaying. It's real dangerous, but they enjoy it. This is the group from Tehuacan, and where we was having this is down in Orizaba, and that's my guitar that she has in her hand there. And this is another group showing their talents. This is one of the elders fiddling. And this is me doing one of my many gigs that I had during talent shows or otherwise. Me and that guitar played a lot of music in my mission. This is me and my companion playing. And the guitar I have was given to me by my brother, who had it made while he was on his mission. And he had it sent to Mexico City, where a cousin of mine brought it on over to El Paso. And that's how I got a hold of it. This is me and my companion playing a song that he didn't know, so I played it and we both sang. I think it was The Sounds of Silence or something. There's some more people showing their talent. And this is another youth group. It's hard to believe that they're probably all grandpas now. It's another group of young ladies showing us what they have. And this is me in Tehuacan building a chapel. And everything was done by hand. We didn't have no cranes or welders or anything else. Everything was carried by hand up to the top of those things. And what I'm doing is carrying those 5-gallon buckets of cement up to the top where they're laying block. And we had to run the block up there too in the little wheelbarrows. This is another picture of it. My companion just sitting there doing nothing. This is just another picture of the construction. There they are. They're hard workers. They're doing everything by hand. That's me to the right up a little bit in the white t-shirt and a cowboy hat hauling that cement up. There on the left you can see those boardwalk that we had to walk up to give them supplies up there. And there's just some more helpers that we had. There's happy helpers. That's ward members helping us out there. He's carrying cement up. More construction. That's me carrying it up. Those buckets were heavy. And I didn't weigh that much back in those days. And this is one of our dances that we played for, and they got to dance there in Tehuacan. And what we had to teach with is flannel boards and little figurine things that we put on the flannel board to teach the discussions. And there's the class I was teaching. And this was in Merida when I was there, just singing to a family there. There's me and Elder Frazier playing and singing. There's some baptisms there in Tehuacan getting ready to do. And this young man was my very first baptism there in Tehuacan. This is another baptism there in Tehuacan. This is another family that we had the privilege of baptizing. And there's some more of them. And there's a family of them that we did. Here's another one. We had a lot of success there in Tehuacan, even though at the time it was the armpit of the mission. Nobody wanted to go there, but I sure loved it. And there's some more of our baptisms. And this is what a lot of the houses look like there in Merida, and also up there in Ticul. They had a house, a little shed like this for sleeping, and another one for cooking in, and they just had several of them there on their property. And where I was baptizing here is in a river. It was going from where we were stationed out of to another town that didn't have any missionaries or baptismal font or anything, so we had to do it in the river. And these are baptisms also in members in it's either Merida or Ticul, I forget which, but that's the kind of houses that they were living in. There's some more around the same area. You notice how small they are. Really stuck out. Me and my companion towered over them all. And there's some more, I think these are from Tehuacan, if I'm correct. I don't know, but I think they are. And this is one of the baptisms there in Tehuacan. There's another young lady from Tehuacan. And this is also there in Tehuacan. In that room, in the back of me there is where the primary held their meetings. Another baptism, that little boy. And this family, I forget where they're from, but they're great people all over where I served. This little girl here, she really had a crush on me. And anytime I'd come around, she'd always want to be around me. Now she's probably married and have kids of her own now. It's another family that we had the privilege of teaching. Yeah, we're getting some necessities there for, I think we're going to have a party, getting some supplies. And I had the privilege of having both of my birthdays in Tehuacan. And I don't remember, this one was the first one, because Elder Frazier's there. And they all threw me a party. That was nice of them. And this is at my birthday party. They're having fun. And I was able to have both birthdays in this town because I was finishing out my mission president asked where I'd like to finish out, and I said Tehuacan, so he granted me that wish. Sure used a lot of breath blowing out those candles. That was a really huffing and a puffing. Cutting the cake. And this is there at that same party. The members, they're really nice members. And these are members from up there in Merida, Yucatan. And there's one of the ladies that cooked for us. I think she is from Papantla, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember her bringing me breakfast, and what she did is warmed up some eggs, cracked them and dropped them in a glass, put some lemon in there and stirred it up and says, "Here you go." That was my breakfast. This is in Tehuacan, looking at some ruins they had around there. That's my mamacita's husband, the veterinarian. And this is my mamacita favorita. She really was a mother to me. One time when I was down there in Tehuacan, I got sick. The doctor said I had typhoid. And down there, the doctors don't give you a shot. What they do is they give you a prescription. You go to a pharmacy and get the shot and the medicine and go find somebody to give it to you. And since her husband was a veterinarian, I thought that would be the place to go. So I went over there, and she took me back in her room and said, pull your pants down and lie down on the bed. So I did that, and she jammed that shot into me, and it knocked me out for 3 hours. When I come to, it was dark, but I was able to get over it. And these are members that come to wish me bon voyage as I left Tehuacan. There's some more members there in Tehuacan. And here's, we call them, these parties that we have, we call them lunadas, because they happen at night. Luna is moon. And I normally play for them, and we just have a good time. These are some girls that are one of the talent show things. They're from Tehuacan, but I think this occasion was down in Orizaba, which was part of their district. And these two, well, this party here is also in that area. And this, I forget where I was stationed here, but that house there to the left, it was a pretty fancy house for the area, and that was where we lived, and we held church there. And in the backyard here, where we held parties and lunadas and everything, and that's a piñata that their primary is having a party there. There's my mamacita there in Tehuacan cooking for us. She sure was a good cook. They're just some ladies from the branch there in Tehuacan. And the little girl from there. Just some more primary kids. They sure were cute and full of life. And this is there in Tehuacan, where we went on that excursion to see those ruins that were around there. This is one of Mamacita's helpers. And here is my Mamacita and her husband. I forget who the other couple is. Don't remember there being any senior missionaries down there. I think they were just visitors. And there's another group of great primary kids that we had there in our branch. And this is the group there in Tehuacan. This group was from our branch in, I forget, there by the sea. It was just a real small branch. And this is what they call a gruta. What it is, a big hole in the ground at the river. You can see it running below. And the members used to go out to these things, and they used to go swimming, but since we were missionaries, we couldn't. But it was real cool down in there. This was in the Yucatan area. This is in one of those grutas. See the water dripping in the little pond there. And this is the cenote there in Chichen Itza, where they used to sacrifice virgins and dump them into that cenote there. It's water there. And here is a group there in Ticul. They wanted to take me into one of those grutas, and they said, just bring a candle, because we didn't have any flashlights. So we hiked and we hiked and we hiked, and if you didn't know it was there, you just pass it on by, because the entrance was in back of these bushes. Then we'd go into this big cave, and this is us looking up out of this cave, this gruta. And it's the weirdest thing that the trees above, roots would go clear down and touch the water that's running down there. And we used to get on these little cliffs inside of there and grab a root and just play Tarzan. It was pretty cool. This is one of the Catholic churches down there. Here's another of the Catholic churches. They were the main religion down there, so every town had one. And this is another of them. And this Catholic church was right across the street from us there in Tikul. And that's where the bus ended. Its route was right there. And there's another Catholic church. And this particular one is in Merida. And the couple we knew was getting married, so they invited us to their marriage. And so we went, and the Catholic priest come out, and he was real happy to see us. So he welcomed us in and told us where to sit and everything. And he gave the couple their marriage. And afterwards, they had a party that we were invited to go to. Then we went over there, and that priest really got drunk. And he was so funny after that. And this is in a graveyard in Papantla, Veracruz. It was sort of in a valley. It was surrounded by the mountain. This is another view of it. One of the members died right when we got there. I didn't know who they were, but one of the members who was a member, they come and asked me if we could dedicate the grave before the priest came and did his thing on the grave. And so we went real early, me and my companion, and dedicated the grave and got up on the hill and watched as they brought the body in and the priest did his thing. And this was inside the Catholic church there in Puebla. And this little room, I don't think it was 6 by 8 or so, probably like a jail cell. But anyway, when the priests would feel that they sinned or whatever, they would go into this room, and those little things that are there are real sharp, and they used to whip themselves and stay in that room until they figure they've repented enough. And that is a heart of one of the Catholic priests who I guess used to be over that church there in Puebla. And this is one of the drawings there in the Catholic church. And this one is another of the Catholic churches there. And this is Mamacita's husband with the donkey that's just running wild out there. Since he is a veterinarian, he did a lot of artificial insemination of the dairy cows around there. And when we passed a dairy herd, he would very proudly point to all of those cows out there and said, "Those are my children." I thought that was real funny. And this is my companion on that same donkey. And this is us there in Merida. The branch was going out to that gruta that we saw. We was on a little wagon pulled by a mule. And here's one of the ruins that was around there. I think this one's Uxmal by, I think it's Papantla. And this is inside there. You can see all the little green mounds there. They're ruins that haven't been uncovered yet. It's just some more ruins. I was lucky enough to go down south where I was, where there were a lot of these ruins and not very many visitors. This here is Chichen Itza. That's the ball court that they used to play ball in. That little ring up on the side of on the right is what they had to put a ball through, and they used their elbows to get it through there. I don't know how they did that. But and then the winner, the captain of the winner's team would get sacrificed to make you very incentive to win. And this is Chichen Itza, the Templo de los Guerreros, the warrior temple. That's a beautiful scenery going from Orizaba to Tehuacan. Ruin. I think this is in Chichen Itza also. It was a long ways up there. We used to climb all the way up there. Didn't have nobody telling us we couldn't or anything. So that was cool. The same Chichen Itza. It's one hot, dry, flat place when I was there. I don't know what it's like now. And this is that graveyard that I told you we dedicated the grave at. And this is in Chichen Itza. One elder is sacrificing another elder there on the altar. And this is in Chichen Itza. This one is in Chichen Itza. And when I was there, I went clear to the top, and inside on the top up there, there was a hole going straight down. It had a grate over it, and it was locked. And as I bent over to look down in there, my passport fell out. And so I went running down those stairs and asked the guard that was there, says, can you open up that door up there, because I lost my passport down there. He says, no, I can't do that. That's against the law. And I says, well, my passport's up there. I'm going to get in trouble with the law if I can't get it. So we went up there, and he opened it up, and I went down in there. There was a ladder in there, so we went down the ladder, and inside of there, they had a lot of artifacts that hadn't been brought up yet. It was pretty cool down in there. Anyway, I retrieved my passport and got out. This looks like it's in Papantla, the hilly country. This is in Chichen Itza. And this one, I think, is Uxmal or Tajín, I forget. It's more of the same. I think it's in Tajín. And this is just exploring the ruins. And that's just the countryside that I served in. This is El Tajín. It was kind of crumbled up ruin, but it's pretty interesting. This is in Uxmal. And this also, same place. It's the same. The branch had an excursion, and we went with them. It's the member of the branch there. And this is just the branch going on the outing. That's my companion there in the middle. This is in Chichen Itza. This is just one of the Catholic shrines. I think it's around Papantla there. This is in Chichen Itza. And this is in Tajín, going up the Voladores pole. And I'm just about halfway up there. It goes another probably 20 feet up there. It's really tall. And this is just some of the terrain we had to go through. We carried machetes with us to clear the way. This is in Chichen Itza. Another on Chichen Itza. More drawings on the side of Chichen Itza. I think this one is Uxmal, the ruins. This is Chichen Itza, the observatory. And this is a normal house there around the Yucatan Peninsula. It's how everybody lived. This is in Veracruz, just one of the plazas. This is one of the rivers around there. And this is probably around Campeche. Watching the sun go down beneath the ocean there. And this is in Veracruz, the big shipping point. And this is the just more terrain that we had. And this is Papantla. And this is a parade that they had in Tehuacan. And I even got permission from my mission president to ride in it, because I was invited to ride in it by one of this horse group, but the guy that I was going to take a place of decided he wanted to ride instead, so didn't get to. This was one of the horses I was supposed to ride, but oh well. And this is in that onyx factory there, teaching onyx classes. And this is how they dress there, and it was from Merida. And this one is called Feria de Corpus Christi in Papantla, and they have all week long a festival, and all the states from Mexico, Central America, South America send people up here to be a part of this. And they have a big staging area that they all dance their dances. At the end, when it's night, and they hold it on a moonless night, and this whole festival is what they were supposed to have done when Quetzalcoatl came and visited them, or in other words, Jesus Christ. They were to honor him with all of these dances, and even the voladores swung. And anyway, at night, they would tell the story of the white God appearing in the sky to the people here in Americas, and then they'd shine a bright spotlight up on this hill, that was pitch black all around him, and he actually looked like he was standing in air. And he was a white-complected guy with outstretched arms in a white robe. Then after this video, we'd go around to people and tell the story of Jesus Christ coming to the Americas. And the Mayans, when they would hear this story of the Book of Mormon, they would stop me mid-sentence and say, we know this history, our forefathers have told us about this. So that was about all they needed to get baptized, and they believed. So this is really a nice time to go down and do this. And they actually, to this day, they still hold it. Okay, well, that in a nutshell is my mission. I'm very, very grateful that I was able to serve in Southeast Mexico amongst the wonderful people that were down there, and they were so receptive. And when I finished my mission with the interview with the mission president, he says, okay, Elder, you finished your missionary mission. Now you need to go home, and your next mission is finding a worthy mate to take to the temple. And I was wondering who amongst all the girls that I dated could I take. And then when Mom came in with Anna Mae to help us move to Tucson, I knew right then and there that she was the one that the mission president was talking about. I've never regretted it since. And with the help of the Lord, I was able to baptize over 100 people. And I hope they are all still active, and their kids and grandkids are also doing well in the gospel. And I know this gospel is true. And I leave that in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.